David's tone shifts from description to desperate petition. But be not thou far from me, O Lord. O my strength, haste thee to help me. Psalm 22:19. The word but signals a dramatic turn from despair to hope. The psalmist has described his enemies in vivid detail. Now he calls upon his only source of rescue. This transition shows biblical faith under pressure. Believers acknowledge their circumstances while appealing to God's power. Be not thou far from me reveals David's greatest fear. Physical enemies pose less threat than divine absence. The psalmist can endure human cruelty if God remains near. O Lord uses the covenant name Yahweh. David appeals to God's faithfulness to his promises. This name reminds God of his relationship with Israel and his commitment to protect his people. The covenant name appears over 6,800 times in the Old Testament. Each usage recalls God's character as revealed to Moses. Exodus 34:6-7 declares, the Lord God, merciful and gracious, long-suffering and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin. O my strength identifies God as David's source of power. The psalmist doesn't rely on his own abilities or human allies. Divine strength enables believers to endure what would otherwise destroy them. Paul understood this principle. 2 Corinthians 12:9 records God's promise. My grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Human weakness creates an opportunity for divine power to manifest. The phrase, haste thee to help me, expresses urgency without demanding immediate action. The psalmist requests speed while acknowledging God's sovereignty over timing. This balance characterizes mature prayer. David pictures God rushing to his rescue like a parent responding to a child's cry. This anthropomorphic language makes divine care tangible. Deliver my soul from the sword, my darling from the power of the dog. Psalm 22:20. The psalmist specifies two threats requiring divine intervention. The sword represents human weapons, while dogs symbolize savage enemies. My soul refers to David's life. The sword threatens to cut short his existence. This weapon suggests organized military opposition rather than random violence. Ancient warfare relied on swords for close combat. The psalmist faces enemies equipped for killing. Only divine intervention can preserve his life against such weapons. The phrase power of the dog recalls the earlier imagery of wild dogs surrounding their prey. These creatures possess natural weapons that can destroy human life. The psalmist needs protection from both human and animal threats. Save me from the lion's mouth, for thou hast heard me from the horns of the unicorns. Psalm 22:21. David introduces new animal imagery while expressing confidence in divine response. Lions represented the ultimate predator in ancient Israel. Their mouths could crush human bones. The psalmist faces enemies with similar destructive power. Only God's intervention can preserve him from such overwhelming force. Thou hast heard me shifts to past tense, suggesting answered prayer. The psalmist's confidence grows as he prays. Faith often develops during the prayer process rather than before it begins. The horns of the unicorns describes powerful, dangerous creatures. Wild bulls better translates the original word than unicorns. These animals possess the strength to gore enemies to death. The psalmist claims victory over such forces through divine deliverance. These verses teach believers to pray during a crisis. David names particular threats and requests divine intervention. Vague prayers often reflect unclear thinking about actual needs.